Welcome to first crappy nonprofit syndicate podcast. How are you? We'll see how long this thing lasts. We're gonna do quick kind of intros. Just say your name, what you do, where you work, like really quick for people listening for the first time, so they know who is going to be talking for the next 30 minutes or 2 hours or wherever we go with this. So I'll go first. Matt Lombardi. I'm the founder at Share. We are a marketing and fundraising agency for nonprofits. Dave, you want to go next?
Yeah. Hey, I'm David Schwab. I am the VP of Digital and Media at Dickerson Baker, also a nonprofit fundraising agency. Our focus is helping ministries and other nonprofits raise funds online and grow their digital revenue.
All right, Ryan, you're up next.
I'm Jonathan Beck. I jumped in front of Ryan because I don't want to be last. Yeah, he can be last. Yeah. I'm the CEO of WeGive. It's a terrible, mediocre software company for nonprofits.
Wow.
All right, Ryan, you're next.
Well, first, that's largely a lie, but yeah, I'm Ryan, founder, CEO of Jet Black Solutions. We're a digital solutions agency, and we do a bunch of nerd things with websites, apps, and whatever you guys want. And so, yeah, that's basically
Awesome.
it.
Well, thanks guys for being here. Thanks for taking part in this experiment, which is what it is, to see if there's anything of value that we can actually share with the world and nonprofit stuff. We're going to dive in today to AI stuff. But before we hop into that, what you guys got going on this weekend? Anything good? What's going on in your worlds? Jonathan said he's trying to get a second beer in earlier. That's the goal for the weekend. That's his big...
I'm a Christian. I don't drink alcohol.
Yeah. Gotcha. Cool. Thanks, buddy. Jesus juke on that. As he drinks his high noon.
Yeah.
Love the day on Friday.
Yeah, 9 a.m. high noon for me.
Yeah. Dave, what are you up to this weekend, man?
We don't got anything going on. You can't see in my video, but I got, if I scroll a little bit.
Oh, you guys
I got Christmased against my will already, so we don't have anything to do this weekend. Yeah. So
it's November 14th. We aren't even to Thanksgiving, bro.
That's gnarly.
You're telling me. So we got
Is that a
nothing
regular
going on
thing?
That I get Christmased against my will?
Yeah.
It is now. We got 2 daughters and a wife at home. It's a losing battle.
Yeah.
I got a same, bro, but I'm not getting into that on November 14th. Yeah, you're fine.
Ryan, when do you guys do Christmas at your house? When do you guys start what's the appropriate time to actually put up Christmas?
After the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, man.
Thank you. That's
no, I'm not Christmas in November. I mean, everybody else seems to be, and
yeah,
sure, but no, not here.
What do you got going on this weekend? Anything fun?
I have kids, so
yeah, hanging out with kids. Sounds like all of us. All the fun stuff. We have people coming over for a movie night. We do movie and pizza every Friday night because it's usually my wife and I saying this is when we want to slack off of parenting, and so we'll do that. And then we got a whole lot of nothing the rest of the time. So survive till Monday, man. That's the name of the game. Cool. Sick. All right. So we're gonna be talking AI today. First episode out of the gate. Let's just pick some in the top button that everyone's got an opinion on, and so I'll kind of set the stage for the conversation, and then we're just going to go roundtable, like hot takes on it. So there is a lot of noise right now about AI. I think all of our clients are asking about it. People in the space are posting blogs about it. There's books about it. There's podcasts all about AI for nonprofits. And so one of the things that we focus a lot on, or my mind is always on, is like fundraising, right? Like the marketing stuff is great, but like fundraising is the thing that we really like to dial in on. So what are you guys seeing right now in terms of, like, people will say things like AI is going to revolutionize fundraising? Give me some of your opinions when you hear things like that. Like, where are you at with how AI is actually going to impact fundraising for the future with nonprofits?
I'm gonna jump in first and say, realistically, AI is the great equalizer. So for everyone who says AI is awesome, it's awesome for people who were underperformers and underachievers. For people who were performers, achievers, and doing really good at their job, it is the opposite. It'll take you in the opposite direction. And that's largely what I'm seeing across the board.
Yeah.
And so as it applies to fundraising, if you're really good at your craft, AI is going to drag you down unless you are really good at using it to enhance the areas of your craft that you're weak at.
How do you think it's going to drag them down? Say more about that.
if you're a really good storyteller,
yeah,
and then you start letting AI tell your stories, you become an average storyteller.
Okay.
If you're really good at creating a script to make calls to donors, then you let AI write your scripts, you're going to become average at it. So I would say whatever your top 10% at, top 25% at, if you let AI take that, you're now going to become average, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you guys seeing this mostly, David, for smaller organizations, like it's a way to punch above their weight class?
Mm-hmm. Or teams that are, I mean, and this is a chronic state, but understaffed and overworked, right? Yeah. To be able to produce more, add more, do more. I think that's where I see it used the most. Like I said, yeah, if you're particularly excellent at a craft, it brings you down to average.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan? What are you seeing in terms of like how it's actually impacting day-to-day ops for nonprofits? You guys are more on the development side, actually doing some of the build. I know you guys actually built some AI stuff. What are you guys seeing on that front?
No, for sure. And I think part of it is what's being asked for, because the concept is, oh, well, this will help me do it, like you said, quicker, faster, and potentially better, but it's another tool. So it's like having a genius 4-year-old added to your company. Of course, it can answer all the math questions a lot faster than you can, but it's going to write them on your wall. And so unless you tell it, don't write on the wall, it's going to write on the wall. Then when you tell it, please don't write on the wall, it's going to paint your wall pink to cover it up and then go write it where you tell it to. And so it's like, unless you're going to train people on how to prompt, how to do this kind of stuff, then yeah, I agree with David on that part. It's going to either make you average, or it's just another tool that you've added into your bank of tools that you don't understand. And a lot of nonprofits don't understand their tools anyway. They just heard it from another nonprofit. Like, they're doing it, we should try it. Yeah. And really it's, what do you need to be more efficient in? What do you need? And sometimes that's just process. Sometimes it is the genius 4-year-old, AI bot that you need, but you have to understand what to tell it, or it's going to draw on your walls for sure.
Jonathan can't keep from laughing in the background, freaking ruin our audio. So what do you have to say about this?
That's the best metaphor I've ever heard. I love that. A genius 4-year-old.
Yeah, that's it, right?
But I think I disagree a little bit with the application. I think, at least like in other industries, I think what in one sense it helps. I agree that it helps subpar people or processes or companies achieve like a mediocrity level that's acceptable, right? You can whip out like an agreement, contractual agreement, or an email that is worded well and correctly. You can do that. If you were never able to do that before, you can now do that. Yeah. But for people that are really good, it seems to be this like an actual technology that is really a lever that widens the gap, I think, a little bit, right? Like in software development, for example, you see crappy software development. Like a lot of people can make a really crappy app.
Yeah.
But no one's actually replacing software developers with AI. It's not actually not happening. And it's exposing people. It's more so the guys that are really, really good are now doing 10x the output that other people were doing. And so I think as it becomes more usable, I think it will widen the gap a little bit. From fundraising specifically, I don't think there's much of. I'm not worried about it. I think there are other industries that I would be more worried about. And certainly 6 or 9 months ago, I would have been like, oh man, like corporate lawyers are done for.
Yeah,
like like they're done for. But I don't think that anymore. Because everyone's sort of done the pilot on all the products, right? Yeah. 90 or 90, what is it? 95% of enterprise pilots have failed. Almost all the consumer applications. So I think about it in 3 layers.
Yeah.
Okay. First, I think let's just talk about that and we could just say almost 2 layers, honestly. because there's no point in talking about the infrastructure layer, although it does get bucketed in. But there's an infrastructure layer, there's an LLM layer, and then there's like an application layer, right? And the application layer has gone bonkers.
Through the roof.
Over the last year, the growth rates that no one's ever seen. And the reason those growth rates exist is because everyone can't afford to not check it out, right? It's like everyone was in the square and someone's just dropped thousands of dollars all over the ground. Everyone's picking it up. No one knows if it's real dollars. No one can
it could be.
Take the time to make sure those dollars are real. It's like, well, grab as many as you can and we'll figure it out. That's, I think, what happened. And so that happened over the last year. And now the churn rates on those platforms are also equally unprecedented. Right? I don't know if you've seen any numbers, but the churn rates for Lovable, Bolt, all these big AI app layer companies they're imploding. It's because it doesn't actually have as much value as people thought it did. Pull that over into the nonprofit space, and you have basically people that are never going to be displaced by AI.
I think it takes a level of, because I can speak for myself. In my inbox right now, I probably have 30 or 40 different AI apps that are sending me email updates on their product because I've signed up for them at some point. And like maybe 3 of them I've actually used on a regular basis. And the rest of those are churned, right? So if there's 40 in there, 37 of them are me completely churned. I put in a credit card one time and then canceled it. I was like, I'm not going to use this anymore. And what I've seen is it takes a level of, like, if you were not whether it's design system thinker or like a deep like data architecture thinker, like if you didn't know how to build product before or build great, like think through systems really deeply before, those tools are kind of useless because it takes a level of like technical proficiency to actually be able to use those well, whether it's a good product or not. And some of them suck and some of them are good, but if you don't have the technical proficiency and you've not learned how to do it, it's to your point, right? Like it's the 4-year-old drawing on the walls where you're like, well, this isn't really usable for me. This isn't a Van Gogh. Like this is just like crap on the wall. And that's been my experience with it is unless you really have the skill set to know how to like drive a Ferrari's kind of useless to you because it's just taking you to the gas station or Chick-fil-A or wherever you want to go.
Well, and using that analogy, it's just taking you there faster. It's a car. It does the same thing you've always done. And I agree. The AI push and things like Lovable, they're crashing because of features. It's like Figma will then come out with a whole like, oh, now we connect to Supabase and GitHub. And Figma's a way better design system and it's linked to Lovable. So they're like, well, why don't we just do it? So then everybody hops back over to Figma and they're like, this is sick. And so Figma shoots through the roof again. And then Lovable will be like, oh, by the way, you can like blink and it'll create something now. And like, great. So then you're going back and forth to basically the same tool. And that's what you've always been doing in the meantime. I mean, with giving tools, with software packages and all this kind of stuff, it's your team going, well, we're going to try Excel. Well, we're going to try this new CRM. Well, the CRM doesn't do what we want. Let's go back to Excel. And all we're doing is doing it faster. We're just getting to that wall faster and wasting more time doing it. And so,
Is that guy that you've seen like driving on the street and for some, he's got like a Corvette because he always has a Corvette. And he like guns it to get to the same red light as you. And you're like, what are you doing, dude? Like, we're at the same point. Like, you just gunned it for no reason. Like, you can get there faster, but you're going to hit the exact same red lights and stop signs and all the organizational rules of the road that are going to slow you down. It doesn't change that in any fundamental.
I mean, if you just look at what Ryan said, like Ryan's examples and my examples are all like within companies or industries that AI should have absolutely already displaced. You roll that down to like a fundraiser. Like it has it revolutionized software development or revolutionized design? Not really. It's made things a little faster. Would you agree with me on that, Ryan?
Yeah, it's I used to make the joke that like when I'm doing a Lovable prompt or I'm doing a Figma prompt, it's just a server with either Chad or Steve on it at that point. Steve might be a good developer. Chad's just like, I did half your prompt. That's good enough, right? And all we're doing is like, LLMs had to learn from somebody. They learned from people. They learned from people who coded really well. They learned from people who coded like crap. And that's why half of your prompts are like, I asked you to make that blue. Why is it red? And then the other half, you prompt and it gives you 12 things you didn't ask for that are pure gold. And you're like, yeah, all it's doing is taking from what it learned, which is just what we taught it. So yeah, if anything, it's moving things faster, but it's not replacing anything. Yeah. And the people that are firing developers, like you said, it's like, dude, that developer could have used that tool to produce 10x, but you fired them. Yeah. Now you're using that tool, and as you said earlier, I love those stats. It's 95% of what you just tried to do failed.
Yeah.
Because you relied on a tool.
Yeah. Yeah, Schwab, are you guys using it? Are you guys using AI in any interesting ways for like actual speeding up your process with client work?
Yeah. So what we do is here is AI is our draft bot, basically. So what we, like I said, AI is the great equalizer, right? It'll bring crappy writers up to average writers. It'll bring great writers down to average writers. It'll bring crappy strategists like myself up to average strategists. But what we do is we've basically built a system where we've trained all of our bots as coordinators. And we say, here's the information we have. Here's what we're trying to do. Put a plan together and look at the aggregate of, right, for send dates, example, for an email campaign. Look at the aggregate of all of the data online of what's the best time to send something like this, and then give me 5 windows.
Right.
I'll pick the 3 or 4 that we want to send in, and then I'll go, okay, here's the prompt, here's the topic, here's the resource, create the first draft. And then I'll take that first draft and give it to our writers. And so what we're doing is we're letting it augment our systems and processes that are already in place because they work. Yeah. And allowing us to work faster and not do, like, if it took 5 hours to draft an email because creativity doesn't happen on the drop of a hat, it now takes 2 hours because you've broken that inertia for your writers. Or for when I'm writing a campaign brief, I don't have to look at a calendar. Okay, should I send it on a Tuesday or a Thursday, in the morning or in the evening? That's just, here's your windows, here's your date based off of your trained data on your client and aggregate data online. Right. So it's things like that we've been using. But what we don't do is we don't say, okay, AI, here's the story, draft the appeal. Because you know what happens when you do that? It makes stuff up.
Yeah.
We tried that. And I gave it a blog. And I said, here's this blog. I want you to draft a fundraising appeal from it. It drafted the best fundraising appeal I've read in a long time. But it made up 50% of the details. And if we had published that without vetting the work, our clients would have gotten calls from their donors and be like, well, who's this person and how do I help this person? And they would have to go back and, oh, that person never existed.
Yeah, that's not even a real human
being. Right? Yeah. Like details like, oh, she stole money from her kids to fund her addiction. And I'm like, I was like, that's terrible. I went back and looked at the story and she didn't even have kids.
Yeah.
Like things like that. So it's that, like, you want to use it to augment what you know works.
Yeah.
But you don't want to let it be the only thing that works, right?
Yeah.
Like Ryan said, it's the genius 4-year-old. If you let a genius 4-year-old run their own systems and run their own process and don't check it, you're going to end up with some nasty color on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what we've seen too, is just like, we're able to use it to speed up creative briefs, to speed up campaign briefs, that kind of, like the back end kind of our grunt work stuff that would be, okay, I'm going to have to spend 3 hours thinking through this deeply. It speeds that up to now I need 45 minutes of actually really checking it and make sure, okay, did it actually do the right stuff here? And even some of the stuff that we've seen, I'll follow a bunch of e-com guys on like X and that kind of stuff. Oh, if you just prompt in this and this, it'll spit out 35 creatives and you test them all on paid media and then you pick the winner. And it's like, it doesn't actually work.
It doesn't work.
Creative is so inconsistent. It's so bad at actually understanding brand. It's so bad at actually creating consistency where you can actually A/B test things, that it's functionally useless on those sort of things. It's a great idea if you're like, hey, draft me up like 5 concept logos for this. Okay, it can come up with some decent stuff to get your mind going, but it's not replacing a designer who actually has years or years of work. But you're right, it's a great equalizer in a lot of ways. It can pull some people up. On the fundraising side of things, I know a lot of the fundraising platforms, Jonathan, I'm sure you'll have some thoughts on this. A lot of the fundraising platforms right now are talking about, oh, we're putting AI into our tools and it's a new feature set and it's going to improve giving and X and Y and Z. How much of that is just noise and kind of like using buzzwords of AI because they know that it's sexy and it's going to sell more product versus how much of that is actual real usable technology?
Well, it's such a good question. I think a little bit of both. I mean, the reality is that for the fundraising companies that are, there's fundraising and CRM companies are probably like the main venture fundable companies in the space, and the multiples you get from private equity by saying you're AI have been significant over the last 24 months. And I think that that's starting to relax a little bit. It's like basic unit economics of revenue and retention, et cetera, are becoming attractive again. That being said, I do think that native AI features within these software tools is awesome. I just think it's largely going to be usability use cases, right? Like and I look at a lot of RFPs for this stuff. The only thing that I see regularly and consistently is like AI generated ask amounts.
Right.
Which a lot of direct response firms, et cetera, will do that anyways, right? Yeah. An RFM model, that's not new. That people have been doing that for 30 years. An RFM model on a file and then asking for a specific gift amount. It's not yeah, and I just think
it sounds way cooler when you say machine learning ask arrays than it does to say RFM ask arrays.
Yeah, exactly. And the famous example that was created in the space is Fundraise Up was the first to say that, right? Yeah. The reality is that Fundraise Up is using an IP address and cranking up the ask amount 20% if it's a wealthy geographic area. That's not wahoo, Yeah. We do an RFM model based on your existing database file. Yeah. And whatever, honestly, is there a tick? Yeah. But I think that's that's probably the most used, if you actually practically look at how organizations across the whole space actually using AI in some way within an actual software tool as it relates to how they interact with the donor, that's probably the only real use case, right? Yeah. You have Avid, which I don't really think Avid's really doing any AI stuff, frankly. And sorry, guys.
I'll take if they want to sponsor the podcast. We're just
don't at us.
The first episode.
Yeah, you can at me all day. Come at me, Eric. Yeah, I love those guys. They're great. Yeah. But what they're really doing that's adding value is being a CDP layer, right? But AI sounds a lot more attractive, right? Yeah. Which is basically and it's almost fair in a sense where maybe the most efficient way to communicate, hey, we're going to make your data come out of those systems and make it usable. Yeah. The most efficient and honest way of saying that is AI for the fundraising community. So in a sense, it's the right way of marketing it. It's just not, there's not an actual LLM going making really intelligent decisions. I don't think, right? Totaro would be another example. Yeah. So maybe there's some use cases. I think the large majority, though, where it's needed is in the product from a usability standpoint. When I go into a product and I go, hey, what's going on with this? A chattable dashboard, for example. Yeah. That's not fundraising specific. That's just software usability specific. So I think that's where we'll see most of the value. It's just in the normal stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think building off of what you were saying, I think the most actionable use case still that I haven't seen live yet is insight mining off of aggregate data.
Right.
Let's call a spade a spade. 9 out of 10 organizations that use Salesforce probably don't need Salesforce, but they've got so much data baked into their Salesforce system that they don't know what to do with. Yeah. And it just becomes this big behemoth thing that no one knows why they do what they do, but they know what they have to do, and that's it. But if you could add a layer of data modeling to that and say, okay, what are the 5 actions someone takes with my organization before they make a gift?
Yeah.
Right? How can then you give that to a fundraiser? Okay, well, then you can look and go, okay, how do I influence those 5 actions to happen faster? Or which of those actions are wasteful and I can just circumvent now that I know it happens, right? Those are the things that are so hard to find out manually without looking at an aggregate of data that I think AI is most poised to influence in our sector. And that's not just unique to the fundraising space. That's anyone who's trying to ask someone to do something anywhere more than once, right?
Yeah. Man, this is where I come back to, though. I think these are great. Yes and amen to all of that. Data aggregation so you can actually have a real-time conversation with your data. But the reality is, I mean, like, at least the clients that we work with, like, so many of them are strapped to try and do the current work they have. And even that kind of stuff is like, that is awesome stuff to be able to do. But in some ways, it feels pie in the sky. Because, like, dude, I've got a portfolio that I can't manage right now because we can't hire another major gift officer. Right? I've got, 10 campaigns I have to get out this year, and I already don't have enough team. And like, all like more data and like more understanding of it is great, and they like that from consultants sometimes. But the reality is, like, if they don't have bandwidth to actually make decisions on that and actually go put good plans in place or do good strategy around that, then they can have all the great understanding of why things happen in their organization. Yet again, it's that AI that's still just like, it's speeding them up to get to a red light. And it's like, okay, it's not going to solve the human problems that a lot of these nonprofits we work with have, which are like very practical, like, hey, we don't have enough team members. Hey, even if I know that these are 5 actions someone has to take before they become a donor, who's following up on that? Like, who's going to do that? So that kind of brings me to more of like an automation question, is like, how much of this is really the AI has to be paired with good automation to help these teams actually supplement the bandwidth they have and the resources they have? Are you guys seeing anyone use AI or paired with automation, or just automation really well in a way that doesn't, like, just, outside of like, oh yeah, we personalized, names on our appeal asks and things like that, like the basic stuff, right? Are you guys seeing anyone use automation really well to nurture their donor files and actually do fundraising?
Well, yeah, I mean, all this is so great because, like, one of the systems we're building, and I love what you guys said about this, is I would call it AI assisted. It's not an AI run system. There is a chat bot in there that you can talk about your data. Like, where is this? Who is this person? What happened here? That's a lot of value. But like, when people are doing this, exactly what you said, when they're actually taking their own workflow and auditing it using these AI things. Because one of the things you said, it's like, okay, we're going to get to that red light pretty fast. Nobody is actually stopping to ask, are we even doing it right? Hey, we've got these 5 major donors, we're doing this, we're doing this. And if you stop and ask and go, okay, AI bot, whatever we've got, audit what we're doing. Are we doing too many things? Are we doing 3 of them well, 4 of them poorly? Are we even messaging correctly or consistently? Half the time it is going back to the automated process, and the process might be, we're not even thinking about our donors. I worked with an organization that had a consulting agency come in, and the first thing they said, the very first thing was, you guys are awesome at talking to yourselves. So they were literally marketing to themselves, which was a bigger issue than, so great, you're going to put all that stuff and all your process through AI, and it's going to give you a marketing tool to tell you how awesome you are, instead of, hey, this is what our donor profile is. This is what we're looking for. This is how we're looking to grow. Are we even doing it right? And then rebuilding your process, then adding an AI layer, because AI right now has just become the new way to Google. You used to have to Google and research information. Now you've got an AI bot that can Google faster for you. So if you don't know how to Google, which so many nonprofits do not know how to Google, then AI is not going to help you do anything but Google poorly faster. And so, yes, I see all the time these kinds of, they're either good or bad process. And a lot of times the process is good because somebody came up with it and actually understood their donors. The bad ones are, hey, look at that large organization, they must be doing it right. And you're like, no, they just have more people doing it wrong. And so it's that whole needing to actually audit within your space, within what you do, not always looking around at what people in your industry are doing, and then also looking outside your industry. Okay, who fundraises well that isn't a nonprofit, or who gets donations? Like, Mr. Beast and GoFundMe just popped up stuff. Well, don't do the unethical route, but hey, what are they doing well that we could glean from, kind of things? And so they're, it's about asking the right question too.
Schwab. I mean, if we want to pinpoint an improper use of letting AI and automation loose, just look at what GoFundMe did, right? Someone somewhere said, "Hey, we've got an idea. Let's let our system just do this, right? We can automate. We can automate it and scale it to the millions of orgs that are like have an EIN in the country." And it took one pretty bad idea and turned it into a really catastrophic execution, right? And that's the capability that AI gives you is, and I say this all the time, it's technology, and technology is a tool, right? And a tool a good tool in the wrong hands is a bad tool.
Yeah.
A bad tool in the right hands is a good tool. And if you're using your tool right, it's just going to make whatever you're doing happen faster, right? I've said it before, and it effectively is if you're a construction worker and you need to dig out a foundation, you can dig with a shovel or you can dig with a backhoe.
Yeah.
They're both going to do the same thing. They're just going to get the job done faster, right? And that's what technology is.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're trying to build a house and all you have is a backhoe, you're still just going to you're just going to dig yourself into a hole faster. So anyway,
no, I like that illustration because I mean it's similar. Like you can also with a backhoe, like you can do damage to your foundation with a backhoe. You can't do it with a shovel, right? Like there's only so much damage you can do if you have a tool that's not powered. If you bring in a backhoe, you can crack your foundation, create real big issues. It's similar with AI, which is like, yeah, it's great. It can, if it's in the right hands, if you use it correctly, can be really, really helpful. If you use it poorly, it can crack your foundation. It's going to be a lot worse than it could have been, even if you had just your analog tools you were using before. Have you seen any automation work that's been really well done that you've seen, David?
Unfortunately, not yet in our space.
Right.
One of the applications that I've seen done in the past that I would really like to see in our space is it's a very simple real-time alert system for gift officers for when their donors are taking action. So like we use this when I was running marketing at Fundraise. We built this system for our SDRs to know when someone was on the site doing buying behavior.
Yep.
It's a really simple trigger system. I just haven't seen it applied yet, but okay, you have 150 people in your portfolio. How do you know which one to call today? Well, create a system that tells you, hey, donor A was on your site right now reading the latest impact report.
Right.
And donor B, you're deciding between A and B to call. Donor B hasn't been to your site in 3 weeks. Tell me when donor A is on my site taking that behavior so I can call and say, hey, I saw you were reading the impact report. Can I tell you an anecdotal story about whatever, right? How valuable is that little piece of information to someone who's trying to create a relationship with someone and have a real conversation and a reason to have a conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
That simple thing, like that's unfortunately, I haven't seen it built. I haven't been able to build it for my clients yet. It's something that it requires the right technology and systems infrastructure to build, but things like that, right? Those are real automation use cases to empower fundraisers to do their job better.
Yeah. What, I mean, it makes me think of like our organization just brought on a few outside sales guys, right? Like guys just making calls, which is to me still the best bang for your buck sales activity you can do is just pick up the phone and dial, right? Pick up the phone and dial. Like everyone send email. Yeah. And I would say the same principle for major gift officers out there who are so scared of like just picking up the phone and calling. It's like probably the best thing you could actually do. But I've been very impressed with the level of sophistication they've had with even what they built for us internally with like how they trigger their call system, right? And it's like, hey, we know who to call based on activity on the site and based on, who's actually clicking on emails and all this kind of stuff. And that's something that the sales industry seems to have gotten really, really good. I mean, honestly, the people who probably do it better than anyone, like I wish I could bring in a consultant from the top sales agency for car dealerships, because car dealerships, like, good Lord, don't you go look up like the new Toyota Land Cruiser. Because for the next 6 weeks, you're going to get phone calls and emails and everything about, hey, can I get you in store to come look at this new Land Cruiser? We have 3 of them. We saw the color you like. Like, that's, I think, a big opportunity that you're hitting on, David, with automation is like.
So when are you buying your new Land Cruiser?
Never. My wife said we already have 2 cars that work great and we have decent payment. So we're going to keep those. No time anytime soon, unless it's, hey, Fundraise Up, if you want to sponsor the podcast. I know we just kind of gave you a shout out earlier, but if you want to sponsor
Avid, if you want to sponsor us,
we need a sponsor.
We'll go co-sponsors.
Yeah,
yeah, that'll be good for them.
Yeah,
or GoFundMe, which we've also bad.
GoFundMe, listen, their check spends as well as anyone.
Won't take their money.
Well, and so with GoFundMe, I'd like to just give them a little credit. I think what they did was they exposed a weakness in the nonprofit world. If they could spin up something in a day, and they've only been around since 2010, and your org has probably been around for 60 years, and in one day they outperformed you, maybe you need to rethink your strategy. Just saying.
Well, just for like anyone that's listening to this, does anyone want to give a some context, because some people might just be like, what the heck are they talking about?
Yeah.
Because I lost an entire week of productivity because of it. So
I was so mad. So in his feelings about it.
So mad. So basically what happened, GoFundMe took the public EIN, the tax registration of every nonprofit organization in the country, and created a fundraising page on their website for them. I would venture 95+% of organizations had no idea it happened. So that's effectively what happened.
Correct.
And then if someone found that page and donated to, thinking they were donating to your organization, there was no way for you to know about it unless you knew GoFundMe had set up a page for you. If that gift was never claimed by your organization, by claiming your page, that gift went into a general fund that was at the discretion of GoFundMe to distribute where they felt best.
So that's the quick rundown of what happened. I think your point, Ryan, was if your nonprofit got more money in through a generic GoFundMe randomly thrown out their donation page than you did to your own donation site the day of that it went live or whatever, then it probably reveals that you're not doing a great job on SEO because people found that easier than they found your website. And two, like maybe their donation process was better. Like you're kind of saying like, hey, it should also be a wake up call for nonprofits. It's not just, yes, it's an indictment maybe on GoFundMe and the way they did that. Sure. But it's also an indictment on you as a nonprofit if for some reason that outperformed what you were doing already.
I don't actually agree with that though. GoFundMe has so much, particularly in the SEO space, they have so much momentum built that if you are even 100-year-old organization, but you do $5 million a year in revenue, organic search is not your priority, and it's not going to be a place where you're making any meaningful revenue. GoFundMe, it'd be the effect of like HubSpot wants to start ranking for share, right? You can't compete with them because of the momentum they already have built. GoFundMe has so much momentum in that space. They're the 300-pound gorilla, right? It's like, or put it into other commercial spec. It's like pick Amazon. If Amazon wanted to do anything, if you are a small local or startup that does that, and Amazon decides they want to do it, they're going to beat you. Period, because they have the size, the momentum, and the ability to move faster. So
the only disagreement I have on that, because I agree that they're going to beat you in general in their space for sure.
I completely disagree with all of it, by the way. So
yes.
I'll add a completely hot take on the other side.
I think so personally, now granted, unethical, yes. Illegal, no. So that's where I sit on what they did. And so until it's illegal, it's like they did it and they can. And so where I'm coming from where your org needs to come to the table is you have keywords. You have specific keywords that drive you to your organization that GoFundMe did not have the day before they did all this. You have access to the same IRS file that you could scrape yourself and create this page and stuff. And so it's not to say that, as a giving tool, giving to giving, if I created a giving tool, which I would not do, I've got to compete with Jonathan here. There's no way I'm going to do that. That's the whole point is he's dominating that, in a way that I'm not going to today. But if I rolled out something today with my SEO from Jet Black Solutions that outperformed Jonathan on Google and whatever way I did it, I dumped money in it, then what that says is, one, it says I'm a dick, but it also says like Jonathan has something to worry about. That if my donors are so loyal that they didn't recognize that this page wasn't part of my organization based on the URL, and they jumped ship because it was easier, then two things. One, yes, I should have been aware to take these funds, and heck, maybe I got more funds than I did previously because of this push. And so it is a double-edged sword where it's like, well, GoFundMe may have just given them more funds that they've never seen before, but at the same time, they also may have taken donors. Well, if they took my loyal donors with a URL change, then my education on who we are to my donors is lackluster. And it should have been, I should have had an email out the next day saying, hey, that's not us. And so that's my take on that.
Gotcha.
I think it's totally fine. I think it's ethical and legal.
Nice.
Why do you think it's ethical? We know why it's legal, but why do you think it's ethical?
Well, so first of all, okay, there have been maybe 20 organizations that have done this, and legit ones.
Yeah, a lot.
Okay.
This is not
GoFundMe is literally the last organization to do this in the space.
Yeah.
Right. Google did this. Google.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It was called One Today. Right. Every.org does this right now. You go to every.org, type in any nonprofit's page. They have a page. You can donate to it.
Yeah.
Same with Givelify. That's how Givelify popped off during COVID. Right. I think the one point that I agree with is, do they have a ton of SEO juice? Yeah. It's the only thing Andy Ballister's ever cared about is SEO juice. The first time we met, he was like, dude, your company has I looked at your SERP rankings. It's pathetic. 100%. I'm not a consumer. Yeah. But that's how they've ranked success always.
Right.
The reality, in my opinion, is that if someone is doing a branded search on your organization and clicking on a GoFundMe page instead of your website, it's not like there's going to be 25 GoFundMe results.
Yeah, there's going to be one.
Right, there's one.
There are 0 nonprofits that if you're searching for branded search, which, by the way, if you're doing a branded search for a nonprofit, you already know who they are.
Right.
So new donor acquisition for branded search, 0.
Yeah.
Right? I do a branded search for a nonprofit. I find it. If I choose to give to it on GoFundMe, right now, today, that organization will get a check from the donor advised fund I just set up at GoFundMe by doing that, which is probably my preference because I don't want to hear from you anyways, because all you do is blast me with a bunch of direct mail. That's why I'm not giving on your website. Point number 2, if I give on your website, you're paying 5 or 6%.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get more money with me giving through GoFundMe because their ACH processing is free and they pay for the fees. You're going to get 100% of my donation because they're just eating it. And everyone, everyone got so mad about, but all the SEO juice. And I'm like, what SEO juice? What are you talking about?
I mean,
I'm giving to my church, like looking at my church on Google and being like, oh my God, oops. And getting on a GoFundMe page for my church. Come on.
I mean,
right?
So
what are we talking about?
I will say, there's a little bit, we had a client that I just did some recent reporting on. It turns out with their prior paid media vendor, they were not doing any bidding on their own brand name, right? For brand search, which is just a basic brand defense strategy that you should be doing all the time. If you're a nonprofit, it's you don't want your competitors ranking above you on Google because they realize I can just bid on their brand because they aren't bidding on it. So there is a little bit so being the peacemaking Enneagram 9 woo-woo that I am, I think there's a little bit of I see what you guys are saying. Yes, if you're not bidding on your own brand and GoFundMe is going up first, that's some malpractice on your paid media team. So maybe that was a good learning experience for them. I will say my beef is the keeping of the funds and then distributing them however they want if you don't claim them, because there wasn't an associated email that went out to every single nonprofit who had an EIN saying, hey, go claim this. So if it had not been a firestorm in the news cycle, nonprofit world, then how would you know? Seriously, how would you, and then those funds go somewhere else?
It's not up to you though. And that's the thing. Having raised a couple $1 million to create this exact product in the 2010s, okay, which I'm now not doing, but I literally created a digitized donor advised fund. Right. Yeah. I scraped the IRS database and I made a search database of nonprofits. They all had profiles. I tried to get content from their socials. It was stuck in a mobile app. Yeah. So it wasn't a ton of SEO juice. Right? Probably, I wish it had been on the site so we had SEO juice. Yeah. The reality is that these organizations get a $10,000 grant from Google annually for branded search. Yeah. So there are 0 nonprofits in the United States, 501c3s, that should ever possibly not rank number 1 on Google for free.
Well, let's pause there. We're getting away from AI, but Google Grant is the biggest
this is interesting,
joke
though, I think.
in digital media, period. So
because it's branded only. That's why.
No, it's not.
It's branded.
No. So the limit for Google Grant, it's $10,000 a month, but you can only buy search terms that have less than a $2 cost per click, and most brand search have a $5+ cost per click. So you can't even use Google search for your own brand unless no one is looking for your brand.
So that's if you. So I have a company, Growth Squad, that actually can do the pay-per-click campaigns, and they've outperformed Google's paid stuff like that with the less than $2. It does. I agree. I do think that there's a lot of key stuff that's $5 or more, but I think if you have someone educated, and I do think that's the problem. So I will tie this back into the AI thing. This is how we sandwich it in there, is if you don't have good process or even good wherewithal to say, we don't know how to do this. Because a lot of orgs just do stuff and then they're like, oh, we should have done what? It's just knowing that we need to have somebody consult, and either we need to hire somebody or we need to hire organizations like everybody here to manage things for us. You're right. We may not be able to get them as the supreme ranking thing on the internet, but it doesn't mean that we couldn't, they couldn't have ranked above, for example, this GoFundMe page thing. And we could have done it through automation, through AI tools, through analyzing their data, because we know how. And so that's the space that we're all in. We know this stuff, but nonprofits don't have time. And so instead they should be hiring you guys to do it for them, because then this wouldn't have happened to them.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to the whole data thing, I think, ultimately, and AI in general. Like, I've got a study here that's on my desk always. I got a stack of studies, and it's like they did this is by Nonprofit Pro and GiveSmart. Another shout out to another competitor. It's like something like 70% here of all nonprofit executives were like, we would love to be a data-driven organization, but we can't.
Yeah.
Like, we would love to use these tools.
Right. But we can't.
We don't have, like, the data's either we don't have the staff capacity, our team needs training, we're not capturing the correct data, our data's siloed between different departments, the technology's outdated. Like, that's like 100% of the respondents. So it's like 2% of the respondents were like, we feel like we're data driven. Yeah. And for AI, and this is back in 2023, the only thing anyone was using it for was copywriting. And then half of the group was not using it.
Yeah.
Right? And only 5% were using it for segmentation and predictive modeling. If we're talking about like, it's like the only real use case that we have, I think that makes sense. Just because I think this is going to be the big shift over the next 10 years, is I think that traditionally technology leaders and marketing leaders have not been key executives at nonprofits.
It's been programmed
over the last several years.
Sure.
I think 10, 20 years from now, the most important people at nonprofits are going to be technology and marketing leaders. Storytelling at scale, right? To close out the Google AdWords thing, that's because these guys are trying to sneak in other keywords versus just going exact match. If you go exact match on a full branded search term and your domain lines up with it, there's no way cost per click is going to be more than $1. Or you're doing it wrong, which is, to Ryan's point, doing it wrong.
I see, for a small organization, 100%. Yeah. For an organization that has more than a couple thousand search impressions, Google will,
right.
Yeah.
Like, give me an example.
So case in point, I can't say names because I didn't ask for permission ahead of time, but I had a client specifically who we manage their paid search program. They are a large international ministry that has several other large international ministries that do the exact same work in the exact same place and trying to get the exact same donor gift. The other ministries will bid on our clients' brand search terms. Brand, donate to brand, or brand does this, or brand information. They will bid on those specific terms.
Even just the name.
Because they were or just the name, because they were the most known brand in that space of ministry. Those costs per clicks were exorbitant. I'm not saying that's going to hit 99% of organizations, but
no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, for the 1% at scale, these enterprise ones, it matters a lot. And the Google AdWords is traditionally useless for those brand search things.
Notably, too, you're pulling in intent words, right? Donate to,
even
or
just
does
the brand
this.
name.
Even just the brand name.
You go exact match on a brand name. The way Google algorithms work for bidding is it's like ad, but also ad match to domain. And so when you're saying donate to this, your website, there could be like GoFundMe could probably actually compete with a donate to this, because Google might be like, this probably, like, the domain authority's higher, like, this probably makes more sense to send as a result, which they're clearly doing.
When we were seeing the GoFundMe stuff live, there were many times where I'm going to test for organizations I work with, and their GoFundMe page outranked their own donation page.
Yeah. And I'm okay
because of that.
Honestly. I'm okay with it. I'm completely okay with it.
I love it.
Okay, so we're not going to
actually like it.
Agreement on that. That's totally okay. Let me try to land this plane in some sort of way. Okay, so if there's a nonprofit leader, which I don't know why at 45 minutes you're still listening to us talk, but if you are for some reason, like, good on you, you're just a sicko for this stuff. Then if a nonprofit leader's out there trying to make a decision about, like, what's actually worth investing, like, they have people from their team coming all the time. We need to AI this, AI that. They have a board that's in, how are you guys using AI? How would you actually advise them of, like, how do you discern what's actually worth investing in? What's worth dipping your toe in? Hey, go all in on this. How would you advise them to actually make decisions about whether it's technology, whether it's, like, empowering their current people? How would you advise them to actually make good decisions about where they need to take steps forward with AI?
Yeah, I think what you said, one, it would be to do inventory of their team first. I mean, really, it's like you have to start a consultation. You got to see what you have and what you don't have. Because if you don't have anybody who, if the best person in your organization using technology is the one using Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Access because you built that in 1995, and they know how to do computer and quote unquote IT stuff, then yes, you probably need to think about either hiring people or contracting an organization to help you first. But then I would also say it's like there's some easy tool. I mean, yes, use ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini just for the simple things that you're already doing, like checking your copywriting, checking your spelling, asking it things like, hey, is this email a little too desperate? Use those things first to see how you understand them. And then if you're immediately that person who's like, this is Chinese to me, well, then your next step. Your next step is we need to find somebody who, quote unquote, speaks AI and either bring them into the team or get a company. And I think we all represent different facets of that here in to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Schwab?
Two things. One, if you're not doing something, just start.
Okay.
Test it, play with it, see what it can do. Chances are you're going to find something that is either it's fun to play with, right? Like, you figure out something and then you'll back into a way to make your job easier or do something better for you. So I would just start, right? That's my number one recommendation. Just start. You don't have to solve a problem with it. You don't have to have a problem. You can just start, right? B, if you really want to find a way to make AI work for your organization, you need to start by, and it's kind of what Ryan was saying, audit all your processes. Yeah. Ask everyone what they do more than once a week.
Yeah.
And if it's repetitive, that can be something that you can go, okay, maybe I can solve that with automation or with AI, right? So that's where I would start.
Super. Back, anything from you?
Well, I was the Tech Track sponsor at Missio Nexus a couple of weeks ago, and the thing was about it, right? It was all the IT leaders from all these big ministries and navigators, InterVarsity, Crew, blah, blah, blah. And everyone's, they have people that specialize, that are literally just there to do AI projects.
Yeah.
And I think the sentiment was kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
And so, outside of like your personal work, I don't know, man. I think honestly, and this is going to be an annoying answer, but yeah. I think honestly, getting into a modern, modular, data-driven system is the best way you can utilize AI. At some point, there's going to be some tools that's going to be helpful and people are going to add value.
Mhm.
And if you're stuck in, I'm just kidding. There's a handful of platforms that you're not going to be able to use well and work with. And probably a good way to tell would be like, hey, let's just try connecting ChatGPT with an MCP into our tool. And if you go and spend, like David's saying, if you go and spend an hour trying to do that and you realize, oh, this isn't possible,
you too
whether or not you do it or you use it, once you realize, hey, this is not possible to do this, then you probably need to go look at what tools it is possible to do it. And so, yeah, I think I might come back to like a foundational thing of having a system that works with, that's modern. For lack of a better word. I hate the word modern when it comes to technology.
I mean, so I can remember in, this would have been 2010-ish. I used to still am big kind of like nerd for technology stuff, just on the consumer side. I can remember a cover story from Popular Science that had a picture of a 3D printer on it. It was like the future that's going to destroy manufacturing or something like that, right? Like the 3D printer was going to change everything because now we could do it. Turns out 3D printing has been really helpful in a few kind of novel use cases. Like, if you need custom dental implants, it's really helpful, right? Like if you need like some niche kind of like things built like for prototyping, it's really helpful. It hasn't changed manufacturing fundamentally though. I kind of feel the same way about AI that I do about 3D printing, which is like, it's all the rage because it's the new thing and it's going to change everything. And the reality is it's probably going to have some really cool novel use cases that make our life 1-2% better, at least in fundraising world. But it's not going to replace the blocking and tackling of fundraising that you have to do, that frankly is like grunt work stuff that just has to be good. So I would echo you guys in saying like, hey, dip your toes in it. Don't go crazy thinking, oh, we need to shift everything in the organization because our entire life is about to change because of AI. It's probably not. And I think honestly, we're just too early in the process to know what tools are actually going to shake out to be the winners. I mean, it reminds me of kind of the social media days early on when there's a million different platforms and like, which one's actually going to win? Well, probably should just sit tight for a little while, wait to figure out actually what's going to be the transformative tools. I'd almost rather be a little bit late than get your IT team and your tech stack completely integrated with something that may go completely belly up in a year because their venture funding ran out. And now all of a sudden you're stuck with something that sucks. So I think that would be my advice is like, hey, don't feel like you have to be first on the AI stuff, where it can be a novel use case that helps you a little bit. Yeah, like play with it, dip your toes in, but don't feel like you have to go wholesale, like burn the boats on AI, because it's probably, you're going to pick a losing boat if you do that. So, okay, this has been a really good conversation about AI, some other stuff as well in there. Thanks guys. This has been fun. We'll drop this probably early December. So just in time for the holidays and all of us to be losing our minds at calendar year end, for all the client work. So good times. Thanks guys. Thank you for listening to the Nonprofit Syndicate podcast. Hopefully there's more of them in the future and this isn't a one-off and the whole thing doesn't go down in flames, but we'll see you next time.